Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Replay Mega Man 04. In the last part we beat some more of the Einharjar warriors, if I recall. And now we're actually over at Servo, because I want to make something real quick. Two somethings actually. Put a Fatal, a Mecha Mason, a V-Fire, and some Serotonin together, you actually get an S-Crystal. The S-Crystal is actually not an equipment chip, and you can make two of them. Well, you need two of them actually to get 100% in the game. Why? You might remember the guy in room number 2. The thing is, he has more than one purpose. He generally tells you about the weather effects, gives you hints towards things in the game. However, he says if you have an S-Crystal, in fact I think he hints towards how to make it, he'll give you a sub-tank. This is how you get the 3rd and 4th sub-tanks in the game. You're not found in stages. In fact, if you look at them on the pause screen as I show off now, they actually look completely different. I have no idea why they made that little design choice, but okay. Either way, time for stages. And we are now going after this one. I'm reading an abnormal spike in the heat temperature at 0.82. It seems as if the vial has taken over an artificial sun originally designed for weather control, and has modified it to overheat. The extreme heat has dried out the area, making it a desert. The desertification is spreading towards Area 0, so stop that sun before it's too late. This mission? Yup. Gonna warn you right now, this mission is hard. Do your best, Zero. The temperature is rising rapidly at your location. Even you won't be able to last long in that heat. Once your armor reaches 100% capacity, you'll start taking damage. Hide in the shade as much as possible to stay cool. There are several energy generators. If you can destroy them, you should be able to lower the temperature. I'm gonna tell you right now, the major difference between this with the weather in your favor and the weather in the boss's favor is how quickly your temperature goes up. I think it's like doubled or even tripled if you have the weather in the boss's favor. And as they said, when you're in the sunlight, that percentage at the top of the screen slowly rises. When it reaches 100%, you start taking damage. However, thankfully, the moment you go into shade, it like immediately goes back down to 0, which isn't how it should work, but I'll take it anyway. I'm gonna tell you right now, I actually recommend having the nurse at a higher level, the nurse traits for your Cyberwolf at a higher level, because as you'll notice, I take a lot of damage during this mission. I've never liked this mission, honestly. And here are the energy generators. I'm not sure if these actually affect the stage at all. Maybe they lower the rate at which the temperature rises or something, but either way, it's what determines your mission score as far as I can recall, so make sure you do that. Also, I'm gonna tell you right now, Sol Titanion is the boss here, and her EX skill is another Buster Shot type one. Which, because I'm only saying this because I'm running because I see the current Buster Shot type on screen right now. The thing is with Buster Shot types, what's they called? EX skills in this game is that since you don't have the elemental chips to switch your elemental attacks at will, you can actually only have one charge shot Buster, one Buster type EX skill equipped at a time, whereas you can have all 4 of the Saber types at once, because there's none for the, Z-Knuckle for some reason. Oh yeah, by the way, the only way you can deal elemental damage aside from your Cyber Elf is with your EX skills. So yeah, sometimes it can be pretty hard to hit the enemy. Also, on this screen here, the enemies that are on that one right there actually at the bottom of the screen. Those are called RB cannons, and I want one of their parts. So what I'm going to do in between this level and the next one is, as usual, grind for their parts. I only need one of them, thankfully, unlike the Mecha Masons, but it's always useful to have one of them, trust me for this. Also, for some reason, at the top left of that, right of that room, I always think there's something, but nope. Anyway, time for this mini-boss. I'm not even sure if it has a name. I've always just called it the Glass Cannon, because that's what the parts you can get from the little mini-parts are, the little miniature versions of it are. And this guy's pattern is pretty simple. Here, the middle one will shoot energy blasts at you, while it constantly makes the mini versions around it switch color and attack patterns. However, once you destroy all of them, it goes into this mode where it just does a constant circle stream of energy, and I think it actually can never move again once it reaches this state. Think is a keyword. Also, I should have done something in this stage. There were, earlier on in the stage, the little Moloid-looking guys, the hammer guys from the mid-stage. that I needed the parts for. They also are called Axloids. Get one for your Z-Knuckle. The Axloid is actually one of the strongest Z-Knuckle abilities in the game. Its power is about on par with that of a charged saber, so yeah. I would have made that boss fight go by a lot quicker, for now at least, because things might be speeding up when it comes to boss fights fairly soon. Now, one thing you probably haven't noticed that I've mentioned much of in this game is the soundtrack. I may have mentioned once or twice specific songs and melodies, but honestly, Zero 4's soundtrack is probably the most forgettable in the series. I'm not sure what it is about it, too, because there are some decent compositions, just the fact that they kind of blend together. I think I mentioned it before, but the sound font that they used for Zero 4 is completely different than that of 1 through 3. And you can definitely hear there's a lot more electric guitar sounding things in it, and it just makes it all kind of samey. It's actually the same problem I have with Pokemon Fire Red Leaf Green and its soundtrack. And Ruby Sapphire Emerald, actually, now that I think about it, because there's a lot of trumpets. Yeah. Then again, the Game Boy Advance didn't really have the best sound card, did it? Don't even get me started on the Super Nintendo remake and the remixes. Final Fantasy IV Advance. Such terrible music. Either way, we're at the boss, so get prepared.
You must be quite fired up to come this far. But you're not fired up enough for me. I want to see you sweat. I want to see tears. Show me everything you've got. I love making guys like you with the charcoal. Now it's time to get burned.
We get it! Your gimmick is fire! Shut up! Anyway, Soul Titanion is actually a surprisingly simple boss. The most dangerous part about it, I'm gonna say right now, isn't her, but actually the environmental effect of the temperature gauge still. Attack-wise, she often just sends a lot of her wings out in varying patterns. The red ones do that pattern. She can cause little mines when she does this attack, which I rarely ever see, actually. She has a little Spirit Bomb attack where she sends butterflies out, and then she has her green wing attack, which does a thing. Not a very hard boss at all, honestly. In fact, for years before I started going Noble Mandrago first, I went Soul Titanion first.
What? Why can't I move? How could I lose to you? Unbelievable. No. Impossible. Ah!
Now, I'm surprised she's able to process language that well when she's sliced in half like that. That's actually pretty impressive. Either way, not a very... Actually, no, it is probably the hardest out of the 8 main stages, especially with the weather and the boss's gimmick, but it's pretty simple all the same.
Welcome back, Zero. How are you holding up? Even for you, that level of heat is dangerous. I was so worried. I'm glad to see you're safe.
Now, I'm starting to sense that you really are worrying about me a bit too much, CL. Either way, off screen I got the RB cannon part, because now I'm going to put a Beam Walker, a RB cannon, looking at my notes, Nico's Krabby, and a Serpent Gear. Use those parts together to make a Quick Charge 3 head part, which in my opinion is the greatest head part in the game. Why? Let's take a look at my charge speed. Oh, wow. That's like tripled. Yeah, boss fights are going to get a lot quicker from here on out, folks. Either way, next up, we're going after this guy. Get the weather in his favor, and let's start the mission. I've detected a large magnetic flux at point B1. The electromagnetic pulses are generating a lot of noise, and it's spreading. There's a good chance the noise could interfere with the operation of the environmental control systems in Area 0. Infiltrate and put a stop to that device. This mission? Yup. This is actually one of my favorite stages in the game, with the weather in the boss's favor, because it's so fun. From inside the building ahead, I'm reading a powerful magnetic field. Because of your field, your jump might be affected. If you share polarity, you'll jump higher. If it's different, you'll jump lower. There are capsules that can change your magnetic polarity. Use them wisely to get through here. This stage reminds me a lot, now that I've actually played the game, of one of the dungeons in Shantae where you're switching between blue and red to open doors and such. The main gimmick that you're going to see right here, by the way, that's the Axloid, gets their part immediately. You're seeing in the background that little magnetic field shape thing. That affects your jump. That's not there if the weather isn't in the boss's favor. So actually, this is one of the few stages where I think it's actually easier when the weather's in the boss's favor because of your height and jump. There's also some other things that changed in the stage, which is surprisingly hard to notice. Inside here is always the same, though. Enemies that are blue and red will be changed by it. You'll have your polarity thing, and the floor will start being blue or red. Since it's red, that's, I'm assuming, south, so my jump is now lower, higher. It's all relative to what your polarity is. It's a very fun gimmick, though. At the same time, jumping when your polarities are the same, or no, opposite, is annoying, because it gets really hard. Because look at that, look how high my jump is. There's a lot of high damaging things in this stage, though, which can be kind of hard to notice if you're not paying attention. Another added gimmick for when the weather's in the boss's favor is right here, actually. When the weather isn't in the boss's favor, these platforms don't get electrified at all. It's just a normal platforming section. Obviously, when the stages are electrified, you take damage. And there's also a slight difference in the mini-boss here. I forget what this thing's called. Either way, the main difference is the fact that that electricity at the top of the screen isn't there when the weather isn't in the boss's favor. Anyway, this mini-boss is really simple. What he did there, pull the stage up towards him, is all he does. He actually doesn't have any direct attacks other than dropping the mini-crabs at you. So just spam charge attacks, or if you have it, the Axeloid. Actually, I'm just now realizing, I thought the sound effect that thing used when walking wasn't introduced until, ZX, but no, I guess it was introduced here. Because that whirring sound that it makes when it's stepping, that's used everywhere in ZX and ZX7, especially ZX1, though. Anyway, this half of the stage is pretty much home to a lot more poles that you can hang on to using your Z-Knuckle, which I forget if the electricity that you're seeing war through them is there only if the weather's in the boss's favor, but if it is, that's another added gimmick, I suppose. But as you can see here, if you have the double jump combined with dash jumping, this section is really easy. Oh, hello. Audio cut out there. That was weird. Either way, time for Mino Magnus. You finally come, Zero. I won't let you stop Ragnarok. I am the great Mino Magnus. I'll crush you and then, I really don't have time to listen to the rest of this. Let's go. I've always loved that dialogue section so much. When Zero insults people, it's funny. Anyway, Mino Magnus, as you're gonna see due to my Quick Charge 3 and Axeloid, is a really easy boss fight. Attack-wise, it's all magnet-based. You can make stuff come out of the ground and then fall back on top of you as a block that I think can even crush you. He has an attack where he splits himself up into pieces. Honestly, he's a pretty simple boss, and as you're gonna see here, I kill him really quickly with the Axeloid ability. The one thing I didn't know is that you could actually kill him during this attack, because I've never seen this sprite before. I lost. How can this be happening? Because you're slow and huge, your hitbox is kind of makes you easy. Yeah, Mino Magnus, with or without the weather in the boss's favor, is a really easy boss. The stage isn't that bad either. And we got his EX skill, which I never use. Not even sure what it does, actually. I think it tracks enemies? He managed to stop the spreading noise. Good thing, too, because if it would have kept going, even this trailer would have been in danger. Alright, but with that, I'm going to need to end this off here. Thank you guys for watching, and in part 7, we'll be heading after the final 2 of the Einherjar Warriors. By the way, in between parts, I'm going to be getting some more parts off screen, and also grinding up to 3,500 energy crystals so I can max out my elf's level. See you guys then.